Hey, it's Biddy Penny, and I'm back today to share this Scrappy Tells card with you guys. I'm really focusing on this Fairy Girl stamp and die set. This was from the June release, and it was a Midsummer's Night Dream release. It's so cool. It's where I got that book shadow box die that I use so much and I'm still using. I absolutely love it. And so today I'm going to be making a Slimline shadow box. So I stamped up this beautiful fairy girl, and I stamped her on orange vellum, regular vellum, and then cardstock. I actually stamped her 4 times, twice on cardstock. So she's got some layers, and I'll show y'all all that later. So I am using the Scrappy Tells Slimline shadow box die to create my card base today. And guys, this was the first thing I ever bought from Scrappy Tells. This was in the first release, and it hasn't even been a year ago, but Sabrina just keeps putting out so many cool products. So I was so excited when this came out on the market. I also bought her box dies because she's been making box cards for years and they're amazing, and I just wanted an easy way to do it. So I am excited to build this with you guys today. It already comes with the score lines. You don't have to figure anything out. You just have to cut and score. Everything's measured for you and figured out for you. So I've brought in 4 beautiful, magical distress oxide colors to kind of blend together. I am making a fairy house with my Slimline shadow box today. So what I'm doing is decorating kind of a fairy home, and the idea is that the fairy's been out being magically wonderful all day long, and she's ready to go home and have some tea and chill out. And so that's kind of the whole idea that I had with creating this card today. I'm going to be using quite a few different Scrappy Tells products. There's so many great ones. You know, I think we all have a tendency to collect from one company or another, and I would definitely recommend this one if you're ever looking at one, because Sabrina puts out so many innovative dies that if you like interactive cards, you should really check out our website. She does vases, paper vases, like who does that? And just all kinds of cool stuff. So you guys probably saw when I made my own stamp right here using a die, a standalone die, this butterfly. I had just put it back in with my die set. That way I always had my stamp. And because it's on cardboard, super fancy, I had to put my paper down on top of it so I can line it up, but it works great. So I just stamped that out, and now I'm going to glue vellum on top. So today I'm using a lot of vellum in my cards because I really want it to have like the softness. I brought in the Slimline cobblestone die because I'm going to need some of those cobblestones, because I think a fairy garden needs some, little tiny stepping stones. So I'm going to put those in a little dish, and then I brought in this Slimline intricate lace set for some beautiful paper lace, and this home furnishing set. You guys have seen me work with this before, and this is what I like to do. When I have leftovers, I like to just put it back with a stamp set for times like these. I already have things colored and cut. I love it when that happens. So I just grabbed everything that was colored and cut, and I was like, that'll work. This is new to me. It's whimsical layering daisies, and I just can't pass up florals. Y'all know me by now. And I am going to use my alcohol markers and color the back of the vellum. And then what I'll do is, once all that's colored up, I will layer that on top of just a solid white die cut. So I'm going to show you how I did one flower today. I don't want to bore you putting together all of them. I made lots because these Slimline shadow box cards, you get to use all the things. That's actually something that's really fun about it, is it can hold so many things. So if you ever have like a lot of ephemera or stamps and you're like, I want to use everything, you might like this design. So I also have this fairy botanical set, and I did go ahead and get the dies for this, and I'm so glad I did, because it cuts out like all the nitty gritty stuff. You can see right there between those two toadstools. I really like Sabrina's dies for that reason. They're very intricate, very sharp, and good. They're fantastic. So now I'm coloring up my toadstools with the same colors that I used in my card base. That way everything jives, makes sense, you know? It all feels cohesive. That's one of the great things about making your own ephemera. So I'm putting my vellum on top because I'm wanting to soften everything. And now I'll show you a close-up of kind of what that looks like. And I'm just kind of collecting all of my bits and bobs, and now I'm ready to go. I did decide to spray this with my shimmer mist, which is almost out. I love this stuff so much. And I really like the way it just makes the paper glisten. So lovely. Now, before I have this attached, I did actually go ahead and ink blend on all sides, every piece of this paper, so that it would all, no matter what angle you looked at, it would look great. So now you just need some double-sided adhesive like this. Tear and tape is great for holding these inserts together. So typically you can cut out like 3 of these, and that way you have lots of layers within your shadow box. But what you will likely want to do is go ahead and put your shadow box completely together before you put these in. So I was just kind of playing with it here, not ready to necessarily put my card together. I was just kind of playing with layers, figuring out where I wanted the colors. But once I have my box assembled, which is really easy to do, then I'll go ahead and go in and add these inserts. So I just love how all these colors played together, and it just looks so magical. Now, Sabrina collaborated with Pear Blossom Press, and they make these really awesome lights, and they are so easy to use. So years ago, I remember seeing lights for cards, and you had to like do the whole circuit thing. It wasn't overly complicated, but it was more than I wanted to figure out. So I never tried lights. This was my first time, and they just make it so easy. Like, the circuit's already complete. It comes with a battery. It's very easy to use. I like how long the wire is because it gives you a lot of range for the lights. Here I'm just showing you how I put my fairy together. So I had cut a piece for her shirt and back shoulders. I had cut a piece for her hair. I had cut a vellum piece, and then I cut the orange vellum piece. So she has a few pieces to get this layered effect, but I'm so glad that I did it this way, because when she's lit up, it really is pretty magical, and I just think she looks so realistic. I love the way her hair was drawn. That was like one of my favorite things, and it's just a really cool stamp. Okay, I'm going to show you guys here how I'm going to stick this on. I'm just going to use double-sided tape, and I'm going to stick it there and then cover it on the back. Make sure when you're snipping you don't snip those wires. I didn't, but you just want to be careful, because I was editing this video and I was like, I could have easily just cut those wires off. If you get to crafting too fast. So I love fairy gardens. My daughter has a really beautiful fairy garden, and so she, of course, loved this card. And we just kind of dreamed about what a fairy's house looks like, which is what we're going to do right now. We're going to put her house together. So, of course, she has flowers. Inside and outside, flowers belong everywhere. A fireplace. And then I did have this really brightly colored table and chairs, which we decided definitely should be in the fairy house. And I kind of wanted to change that welcome sign to something that says like pixie dust or, some kind of fairy saying, but welcome ended up staying. I put the butterfly on the outside. Of course, she has a snail friend and a toadstool in her home. And I'm just kind of layering this up. Now, because the fairy is pretty sizable, like this is a good size stamp, I didn't need to put much in the center. So parts of the card in the very middle don't have a ton in there, but when it's standing up, you can't tell that. It's only when you're looking down into it that you can see those kinds of details. But what you're seeing now is really how the card presents when it's up on a table. So that's how I layered it all up, and now I want to do the back. So this is a die that comes in the Slimline shadow box, and I just think it's really lovely. I used the sentiment from the Fairy Girl stamp set, and for me, this has plenty of place to write. It says, wishing you a magical day, so I could totally write happy birthday, love you, whatever, and that's enough space for me. I think the card says it all, right? And now I'm putting this intricate lace down. I just kind of liked the detail, the extra detail that it added, and I'm going to create another scene. So on this part, I'm using that cobblestone, those little rocks that I had cut out with a cobblestone die, and I'm making a little path, a little fairy path. This is her backyard. And of course she has tea out in the backyard too. There's not too many places. You can't have tea in too many places. It's fabulous in lots of places. So here is the card, and I wanted to show you what it looks like in the evening when everything's lit. I really like the way it shines through the wings, and just love the dimension. It was so much fun making this card. If you want to check these products out, please go over to Scrappy Tells. It's Scrappy Tells Crafts. I'll leave it linked below, and you can find some of these awesome things and a whole lot of inspiration. There's a really cool blog and also a YouTube channel, so definitely check those things out. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you feel inspired by this and delighted by it. I know I do, and I had so much fun creating it. I love using these products. They totally push me out of my box, and I love it, love it, love it. So I will see you guys next time. Bye.